Assalamualaikum to our lecturer. Today our group will do movie review of Kilau, The Rise of a Warrior. Our group consists of 3 members, which are Arisah Maisarah Binti Asmuni, Noor Izzati Syafi Binti Abdul Haimi, and me, Noor Shahirah Binti Ibrahim.
Ada insan yang seakan-akan terpilih membaiki umat. Mudah-mudahan kamulah insan itu.
Mula 7 pelang, tanah Melayu dalam bahaya. Apa yang telah kau lakukan pada tanah kami telah melanggar kedaulatan undang-undang orang Melayu dan juga mencabar Sultan.
Penjajah Inggris keparat dan segala tali barut harus diperang habis-habisan.
Bersumpahlah seutuhnya.
Biar aku gugur pertahankan hak daripada melihat tanah air aku dilapah penjajah.
Binti,
Bumi tanah Pahang ini adalah bumi yang berdaulat.
This movie is inspired by 3 events that happened in 1892 during the time when British ruled in Pahang. The story shows how British came not to help Malay people but to take control. They taken control of the land, imposed heavy tax and interfere with the religion and culture of the Malay people. Those who against their rule were punished harshly, and they also treat the local with cruelty and disrespect. Villages are destroyed, people live in fear, and their dignity is slowly stripped away. So, to defend Malay people, Kilau, a brave and well-respected Malay warrior, stands up and leads a secret fight against the British, together with his father, Tok Gajah, and a group of loyal fighters. They launched a guerrilla resistance against the British and striking military camp. Their journey was not easy because they faced challenge not just from British but also from local people who betrayed them and sided with British. The enemy is not only armed with guns and cannon but also with psychological warfare and political strategy. Despite this, Kilau and other fighters still fought bravely and show great courage, loyalty and unity in defending their homeland. There are 2 main stakeholders. First is Kilau. Kilau, the central figure of resistance, has 2 critical stakes in the conflict. First is cultural preservation. He is determined to protect Malay customs, heritage and Islamic values, which are being eroded by the British through their disrespect for local traditions and interference in religious affairs. Second is the community welfare. Kilau cannot stand by as his community suffers under harsh tax, forced labor, and land exploitation. He feels a deep moral responsibility to shield the local population from injustice and to restore their autonomy. Second stakeholder is British colonial government. They also has 2 primary stakes that drive their actions. The first is political control. As colonial rulers, their objective is to maintain firm control over Pahang and suppress any form of uprising or resistance that could threaten their authority. The second is economic exploitation. The British are heavily invested in extracting resources and wealth from the land to benefit their empire. This includes imposing high tax on Malay traders and confiscating fertile land regardless of how it affects the indigenous population. Main hero in this movie is Kilau. He is portrayed as a brave, determined Malay warrior who rises to protect his homeland from British colonization. His main goal is protect the Malay people's culture, religion and dignity of his community from being destroyed by foreign powers. He leads a small group of warriors using guerrilla tactics, silat and strong leadership. Kilau is not just a fighter, he is a symbol of resistance, inspiring unity among his people. Despite facing betrayal, loss and danger, he remains calm and focused, driven by a deep sense of duty to protect his homeland and uphold justice. On the other hand, the main villain in this movie is a British commander who represents the colonial administration's oppressive rule. His goal is to crush local resistance and maintain British control over Pahang. Unlike Mak Kilau, he used deceit, fear, and divisions to achieve his mission. He doesn't respect the local culture or religions and sees the Malays as obstacle to British expansion. He is strategic and cold-hearted, using both military force and psychological tactics to weaken the resistance and silence those who oppose British rule.
So based on this slide, we need to talk about the ethical dilemma, which is Mat Kilau faced a difficult ethical dilemma. As a leader, he must to choose between protecting his people through violent resistance or maintaining peace by accepting British rule. While fighting back could risk the life of his people and lead to more bloodshed. And if his surrendering would mean allowing the loss of Malay identity, values and freedom. This inner conflict forced him to weigh the moral cost of the violence against the need to defend his homeland and religion. On the other hand, the villain also experienced the ethical dilemma. As a British commander, he is expected to carry out orders to expand and maintain the empire control. However, doing so requires the oppression and exploitation of the local Malay population. He must decide between his ambition and loyalty to the British Empire and the moral consequences of enforcing unjust policy. His actions show disregard for human dignity and raising questions about the ethical cost of power and colonization. So now let us talk about the villain action theological view. From a theological view, consequence-based view that the British commander justified his action by focusing on outcome beneficial to the empire. So the first one is ensuring economic gain and political dominance for the British, and the second one is sacrificing local welfare as a necessary means to achieve empire-wide benefits. Let us first understand the mind of the villain, not through the emotion but through the logical. From a theological perspective, ethics is not about the action itself but the outcome it produces. For example, in this movie, the British commander in Mat Kilau believed his actions were justified because they produced what he considered greater good, which is for the economic prosperity and political dominance for the British Empire. Yes, he exploited the land. Yes, he oppressed the people. But in his eyes, this was necessary sacrifice for the so-called advancement of civilization. As we know, theology derives from the Greek words, which is telos, its meaning end or goal. It tells us if the end is good, the means are acceptable. This is the same logic used in History Tucker's chapter, which is where empire justify colonization, war, and even slavery by declaiming it will lead to progress. So in this chapter, we need to ask ourselves, can action be ethical if it benefits some but crush to others? This is the ethical dilemma that theology forces us to confront. So now we move to the next slide, which is hero action deontological view. From a deontological view, duty-based perspective, Mat Kilau upholds his ethical duties. The first one is defending the truth and resisting injustice regardless of the cost, and the second one is fulfilling his moral obligation to protect his religion, land, and people. Now, we turn to the hero, which is Mat Kilau, a man who did not calculate consequences but act from the conviction. From a deontological view, ethics means doing what is right, no matter what the result is. This is the idea based on the thinking of Immanuel Kant that say that some actions are always right or wrong, not because of what they lead to, but because of what they are. For Mat Kilau, the duty was really clear: protect his people, uphold his faith, defend his homeland, even it will cost his life. He did not wait profit or power, he followed a moral compass. When the British raised the taxes, burned the village, and dishonored the tradition, he did not ask what will I gain, but he only asked what is the right thing to do. So this is the deontology in action. And it's not the essence of the true hero to stand in firm, the righteousness, and even when the world turns against you. So, Mat Kilau shows us that the ethic is not always about the logic, it's about the honor, duty, and truth.
My name is Izzati Syafi, so I will continue with the next slide. If I were the British commander in Mat Kilau, I would try to act in a better and more respectful way. I would follow the golden rule which says, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." This means I would not treat the Malay people badly because I don't want to be treated badly. Instead of using force or taking away their land, I would try to talk peacefully and understanding their point of view. I would respect their culture and beliefs just like I would want someone to respect mine. More importantly, I would recognize their right to lead their own country without control from outsiders. Even though I am a foreign leader, I would try to be kind, fair, and understanding toward the people I meet. Next is emotion of the villain. Even though British commander as a villain, he might still have a human feelings inside him. After seeing the pain and damage caused by his action, he might feel remorse, which means he feel really sorry for the suffering and for damaging a rich culture. He could also feel guilt because he put power, control, and money above the well-being of human lives. Deep down, he might know that he chose the wrong path, hurting others just to benefit himself and his empire. He might also feel shame, which is a strong feeling of regret and embarrassment for treating an entire group of people as if they were less than human. These emotions show that people who do wrong things can still have a conscience and can learn to change if they realize their mistakes. There are many important life lessons we can learn from this movie. We learn that true leadership is not about power or control. It is about having the courage to do what is right, even when it is hard or dangerous. A true leader stands up for justice and protects the people. We see that even the smallest voice can create a big change. When the oppressed stand up for their rights, they can challenge powerful force. It reminds us that no matter how small we feel, we all have the power to speak up and make a difference. We learn that doing the right things is not always the easiest path. Sometimes making ethical choices means facing danger, criticism, or pain. But these decisions are the ones that bring real value and meaningful to our lives. In conclusion of Mat Kilau's movie is much more than just an action or historical movie. It gives us a deeper look into the constant fight between what is right, what is wrong, between justice and oppression. By looking at the decision made by both hero and the villain, we can understand how important is to be a good and responsible leader. The hero fights with strong morals and love for his people, while the villain shows what happens when power is used without care of others. This movie reminds us that being a leader means caring about others, making fair decisions, and having the bravery to stand up for truth. Even when it is not easy, it teaches us that in the end, doing what is right is what truly makes someone great. That's all from us. Thank you.